Prime Minister requests urgent response to storm number 3.
Ukraine proposes peace talks with Russia next week.
Exports in first half of 2025 in response to U.S. tariffs in second half.
Hello, so good to see you again in today's news. I'm Hoàng Yên, and here we go, the first step of the show. The Vietnamese Prime Minister issued an emergency directive urging ministries and local authorities to take urgent measures to respond to the storm number 3, which is very strong, moving quickly, and expected to impact both sea and land areas over a wide range.
The storm is currently operating over the northern part of the East Sea with very strong intensity, Category 12, gusting up to Category 15. It is forecast to directly impact the northern and north-central regions of Vietnam, starting the evening of July 21st. The Prime Minister has ordered safety measures for vessels at sea, including the immediate evacuation of people from dangerous areas and a strict ban on staying on boats or fish farms when the storm makes landfall. Provinces and cities are required to review and evacuate residents from landslide-prone or flood-prone areas and to mobilize forces and equipment in accordance with the 4 on-the-spot principle. On the evening of July 20th, Nghệ An Province also issued an urgent directive requiring localities to be ready with response plans, evacuation measures, infrastructure protection, and post-storm recovery efforts to minimize disaster damage.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that the country has proposed a new round of peace talks with Russia next week, aiming to reach an urgent ceasefire.
According to Zelensky, the head of the Ukrainian delegation, Mr. Rustem Umerov, has sent an official proposal to the Russia, though specific details about the time and location of the talks have not been disclosed. In response to this proposal, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov affirmed that Russian President Vladimir Putin is ready to work towards a peaceful solution. But he also emphasized that Russia's initial goals in the conflict remain unchanged. The statement comes as U.S. President Donald Trump on July 14th declared he would take tougher stance on Russia and pledged additional aid to Ukraine. Previously, 2 rounds of direct talks were held in Istanbul in May and June 2025, in which the 2 sides only outlined a vision for a peace agreement and agreed to continue war prisoner exchanges.
Nearly 100 Palestinians have been killed while waiting for aid in the Gaza Strip, 93 of whom are believed to have been shot dead by Israeli soldiers. This marks the deadliest day for aid recipients since the conflict began in October 2023.
The Hamas-run Civil Defense Agency in the Gaza Strip stated that on July 20th, the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, opened fire on Palestinians receiving humanitarian aid in multiple locations, killing a total of 93 people and injuring dozens. The World Food Programme, WFP, also confirmed that their aid convoy witnessed civilians panicking and coming under fire as they approached relief food. The WFP called the violence unacceptable. Meanwhile, IDF denied the casualty figures, claiming that soldiers only fired warning shots when threatened. However, the United Nations reported that nearly 800 people have been killed while receiving aid in Gaza since late May, including incidents that occurred along humanitarian aid convoy routes.
Coming up are some updated news.
The Government Steering Committee for Science, Technology, Innovation, and Digital Transformation reported that Vietnam's digital economy generated nearly VND 2.3 quadrillion in revenue in the first half of 2025, up 21% compared to the same period in 2024. Along with this, the number of digital tech enterprises reached nearly 76,000, with 739 new companies established in May alone. In the first 6 months, the digital economy contributed 18.72% to the national GDP and is expected to surpass 20% for the whole year. These figures demonstrate the strong development of Vietnam's digital economy, playing an increasingly important role in national economic growth.
Thanks to a comprehensive investment strategy and effective support policies, Nghệ An is becoming a prime destination for foreign direct investment, FDI, reshaping the province's socio-economic landscape. Global giants like Foxconn, Gertech, and Luxshare ICT have poured investments into the region, opening up opportunities for sustainable economic development and future supply chain connections. To date, the province has attracted 133 FDI projects with a total registered capital of over USD 4 billion, significantly contributing to the transformation of Nghệ An's economic appearance.
Vinh International Airport has proposed extending its runway by 600 meters, thereby raising the total length to 3,000 meters to receive wide-body aircraft such as the Boeing 787 and Airbus A350. This upgrade would enhance airport capacity and support international flights without major resource demands. The project is scheduled for completion by the end of 2025. Helping Vinh Airport expand its role as a regional international air transport hub.
Despite global trade uncertainties, Nghệ An's export turnover reached $1.8 billion in the first half of 2025, up 25.1%, a 25.1% increase compared to the same period. Export activities not only helped to gain economic recovery, but also created leverage for production within the province. More in the story today.
Export growth in the first 6 months was driven by early order placements, stable production, and expanding market access. Major FDI projects going into stable operation also made significant contributions to export turnover.
In the early months, we had a steady flow of orders and signed new deals. We are also closely monitoring U.S. policy changes to adjust accordingly.
Nghệ An's products are now exported to 125 countries and territories. Key export categories include electronics, textiles, and processed agricultural products like pellets and tea. However, political and trade risks, especially the Ganges and U.S. policies and tariffs, are creating challenges for the remaining months of the year.
Currently, we are looking for other markets and also continue to export to the U.S. market. It is a big market, so we cannot give up but continue to negotiate.
Facing many challenges, export businesses in the province are actively adapting by diversifying markets, going green, and controlling the origin of raw materials. Authorities are also ramping up support through trade promotion, risk alerts, and streamlining customs procedures.
Strengthening customs modernization, applying information technology, especially automatic declaration and risk management applications in business control, enhancing connections with specialized agencies to reduce travel and waiting time for businesses.
Export growth is not just a number, but also hope for a dynamic, adaptable, and sustainable production. In the second half of 2025, the export sector is expected to continue to be a bright spot in the province's economic picture, with a target of total annual export turnover to reach 4.5 billion USD.
The last story just ended our news today. Thank you so much for your attention. Goodbye for now.